another episode of Sipping on Tea with Shols and Vee. I've been off now for the past 2 weeks since I've missed you guys, and I'm super excited to be back. We've got a packed show lined up for you today. First, we're going to be sitting down with Ronaldo Wiltshire, an incredible artist and entrepreneur, to talk about his journey and business ventures.
Also, quickly, just before we go on, I just want to big up Sam for covering for V last week. She was really nervous.
No, definitely. Big up to Samantha. Thank you very much. She was great. Yeah, I watched the show. She was really, really good. Yeah.
Then we're going to be diving into the important topics of the lack of coverage of black women that go missing. We're going to be diving into that. And then we're going to be talking about the shocking story of a woman in America who left her 3 children at home and went about her business. So we're going to ask you to just sit back, grab your cup, and sit back, relax, and enjoy Sipping Tea with Shols and Vee.
Okay, so we're going to welcome Ronaldo to the show, and we're thrilled to have you with us, and we want to thank you for taking the time to join us and share your journey with us. And we can't wait to dive into your journey and learn about your work, and for you to tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, man. Thanks for having me so much.
No problem, of course. You're welcome. Most welcome.
Alright, cool. So we're going to dive straight in and we're going to start talking about your creative process and what inspired you. So what inspired you to do pottery, pursue pottery as an art form? What inspired you?
Well, is if I'm honest, what I always say is that it's in my blood.
Okay.
You know? So both my parents are potters.
I saw that, yes.
Yeah, so that was the start of the whole journey. So just growing up in pottery studios, just seeing them making, seeing the employees, you know, you just naturally start to take clay, try to mold and try to have a little fun with it. So I remember doing that like quite young, but I didn't really get into proper making to when I went back to Barbados when I was about 11 or so. Because I've been moving back and forth from birth between Barbados and London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like your parents kind of pushed you in that direction because that's their chosen form of creativity?
You know, everyone always assumes that, but my parents never pushed it on me. My parents just kind of just let me do whatever that I actually needed, you know. It's funny because I remember like my brother was probably the one that everyone thought was going to become like the main potter.
Yeah.
But he kind of drifted away from it when he got older, and I kind of copied him. I just tried to do everything he was doing. Like he was involved in music, I tried to do that. He started to do pottery after school, so I just started to do the same thing, you know?
So your brother kind of inspired you?
Definitely. He was the inspiration for me.
Nice.
So can you describe your creative process from concept to finished piece?
Wait, I'm one of these type of artists that I plan a lot. But what I've found is like as much as I plan, when I get into the making and actually like the process, that idea might come into head and be like, oh, let me try this instead, or try that. And usually the piece turns out totally different from how the plan was meant to.
Right, yeah.
That's always the best way, isn't it? Yeah. I had a look at your page. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
From the workshops and all that. Great.
Yeah, really good. Just say your socials. We're going to need to say it again at the end, but just say them on there so that people can look while they're listening.
On social media, you can find me under Motions of Clay on Instagram, as also on TikTok. I also have another Instagram page called Clay Vibes _, and that's where we post more of our sip and pot events or like kind of parties and stuff. But yeah, like the businesses, it has more than one aspect. So there's like the school in a way, which is Motions of Clay.
Yeah.
Motions of Clay is also like a domestic wear range. So like small vases, bowls, mug, therapy burners, the stuff that you can use at home.
Yeah.
And then there's the art side. And that's when there's more of a concept to the pieces where I kind of like take my ideas from back in the day when I was at uni and college and then put them from being like designs that were almost architectural forms, design forms, and taking them into pottery now.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, how do you find inspiration? Well, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but how do you find inspiration for design and shapes in your pottery?
Yeah. So for me, like I in 2010, I went to Croydon College and I studied Madonna Foundation. So we got to really dabble with 3D design. That's when I found my love for architecture. So I found that like just looking at forms, especially the stock forms that kind of have the golden ratio in it, I was always drawn to those. So I had like a specific type of proportion of stuff that I like.
Yeah.
And then when I started to get involved in the business, I found it really difficult to find my own style.
Your own niche,
I kind of felt like everything was similar to my parents. But now I've come to understand that that's a good thing. That's how I first saw pottery, and that's been my biggest influence.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't feel bad to say, okay, I take the sculpture ideas from my mom, I take more of the designs and the pieces were thrown on the wheel from my dad, and I take those two inspirations along with my kind of design background.
And you merge it all together.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, I'll say with like the vibes from the classes and stuff, like beyond who does like the music and the vibes inside the classes, like, I also had a music background. I dabbled with music for a while, so I try to bring that element and that kind of style that I work into the studio as well.
What kind of music? What was you doing? Singing, rapping?
I'm not gonna say it was the best,
Okay.
you know what I mean? But it was a bit of dancehall and then bringing in elements of like hip hop. And when we kind of stopped doing music at the time, that's when it was like 2014, 15, when drill music was now coming in. So I remember like we were starting to dabble with the drill beats, but trying to do it with like the Bajan, like the dancehall kind of.
Okay, yeah. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So do you have a particular style or technique that defines your work?
What I would say is that I don't think I would say I got a particular style, maybe particular different styles that I use at certain points, but there's definitely certain techniques that I always keep using, you know, and I kind of might not do it for two years and go back to it. So like at the moment I'm working on a planetary series, which takes inspiration from like futuristic architecture and planet, because I'm like big into like constellations and the stars, and you know, like star signs.
You got a telescope and stuff?
Nah, I don't. But yeah, I like the planets and stuff.
You need to get yourself one. My uncle, before he passed away, he had a huge telescope and he was big on it. So every time I used to go around to my uncle's, he showed me all the constellations. So it was really impressive.
I've never looked through a telescope in my life.
I actually bought a star for one of my nephews or nieces. I can't remember which one, but there's a star out there named after them. Not that they, I don't even think they remember or that they care, but you know, yeah, that's it. Yeah, cool.
Hey.
Okay, so what is your favorite piece of pottery that you've made? Is it on your Instagram?
I'll say I think I have 3 main collections which I'd like to talk about now on Instagram. One that I'm working on now, I mentioned the planetary. My State of Mind collection, which are like face sculptures, and my Earth Tone collection. My State of Mind came about because I was making a sculpture for my mom that was based on my older brother. And my brother, he's 5 years older than me, so he's like 41, right?
Yeah.
And he was diagnosed with schizophrenia when I was about 16, so it was like towards the end of school. And as I said earlier, he was my inspiration.
Yeah.
So when he got ill and he had to come back to Barbados, like honestly, like that started to really affect me. So, and I never spoke about it.
Yeah.
So imagine that happened when I was 16, and then in my 30s was the first time when I publicly spoke about it, and even my close friends didn't even know. And so I designed this face sculpture which was based on him. I struggled to make the eyes in the sculpture, right? So I had to like keep taking the eyes out, and then I thought, well, you know what? He doesn't make much eye contact anyway. So let me forget all the eyes, because it makes the job easy for me as well. And then I kind of glazed each one slightly different. So some are quite colorful, some have textured glazes, and some people, like I remember one of the early ones I sold, the lady bought it for her husband. And she told me she bought it because her husband is into skulls. So she's seeing it as like a skull, that kind of quite scary.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's quite different, but I guess everyone's gonna have like their
Interpret it differently, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, but those pieces are saying that's kind of sentimental.
So how does your brother feel knowing that he's got a collection that's inspired by him? He must be really proud.
You know what? My brother, like he's a real character. Like obviously with schizophrenia, you get ups and downs.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
And he's very vocal with how he feels. So if he don't like something, he's gonna tell you that, you know.
Right.
Like he wasn't happy that I made that about him.
Oh,
and
okay.
He asked me to change the concept, to stop doing it. So what I told him I was gonna do is instead of making the face based on him, we're gonna make it the face of mankind. So it kind of represents everyone.
Right.
Because we all go through those different emotions, different states of mind. Like for instance, today is nice and sunny outside now. You might go outside and see someone scratch your car or something, and that kind of change your they move.
Yeah.
So it's not just for someone that has like a mental health disorder, have these different changes in moods. Like we all
have, yeah, definitely.
So I see the face as the face of mankind, and the different glazes as those emotions that we go through really.
Okay, that's good.
So do you draw inspiration from Pacific cultures or art movements?
Yeah, I would say I haven't done art. I have so much pieces in my sketchbook, so much designs in my head and ideas. But with the studio, right, I've been working on Motions of Clay for a while, and that means that we run a membership space. So we have members who come in and run their business from the space, and we also have like classes that we do, the sipping pots events, and I still need to make as an artist. So the studio has really took over my life for the past like 2-3 years, which kind of meant I haven't had much time to really finish a lot of the ideas that I had. So now I'm actually getting to this point now that I'm actually finally getting to put some of these collections out and put some work in.
Right.
I think I might have drifted away from your
No, it's alright.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
So how do you approach like experiment with different materials? Like, do you use different materials? Like, what do you do? Like, how do you?
So clay is the main thing that I use, but we've had some in the past. I've explored with 3D designing. As I mentioned, I had a product design background, so I had a design friend of mine who does 3D printing, kind of make a scan of some of my ceramic work.
Yeah.
And then he actually made that into a 3D form.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah.
And the whole concept of that was to create masks that you could actually wear. That look quite kind of futuristic. You know, so it's taking ceramic from being a piece that just sits on the shelf to something that could be worn. You know, so it's not just something that's going to sit there and you never touch. I want people to kind of use and touch some of the pieces that I make.
Fantastic, that's good.
Going into that as well, like I would love to bring some of my work more into the fashion industry. Like I had the privilege that I got to make the buttons for Josh O'Connor's BAFTA suit in, I think it was 2022 or 2021.
Okay.
And that kind of made me think about my background in fashion, because I had like a small clothing / like headwear brand back in the day, and so I was like, oh, I've got love for fashion, why not bring like my ceramic skills into that industry? So now I'm thinking to drop a small range of buttons. As I say, like there's so much different ideas. It's just trying to find the right time and then slowly try to put all this work out instead of doing everything all
at once. Yeah, definitely.
Step by step.
Okay, what challenges have you faced in your artistic career, and like, how did you overcome them or still overcome them?
Many challenges. Up to now, summer is usually the quiet season for the business.
Yeah.
But so it means that we don't have a lot of members, we don't have much people who could commit to our 6-week courses. So during the summer, we don't create a lot of income, but we have a lot of time, which means that I've had like time to actually work on these concepts.
Yeah.
You know, some of the real challenges I had also was actually finding a space that really works for me, and a space that is close by, because I like to work at night. So I need somewhere that's close home that I could go. Like if I had like an idea at 12 o'clock at night,
you can go.
I would just go into the studio, just try to backbite it out and just get it out of my head, you know. Otherwise I can't sleep.
Okay, so what role does pottery play in your personal life and creative fulfillment?
When it comes to pottery in my personal life, like it really, I honestly could say that it saved my life. Like back in 2014, when I was kind of stepping away from, I say 2012, around that time, when I was kind of stepping away from the music scene, a lot of stuff was kind of going wrong in my life at the time. And I remember even with my brother, stuff wasn't going great with him, and I had to actually drop out of university to help him, which wasn't good for me. And I had like some joint issues from like a young age, and it just happened that during that time I ended up losing movement in my arm for 8 months. And just having a conversation with my physiotherapist, I was just talking about like back in Barbados growing up, and he was like, oh, so you worked with clay before? He was like, why don't you get some clay, try doing some hand building at home and see what I could create just to help with the movement. And honestly, when I did that there, it's like that was when I realized that
this is onto something.
Clay is the love of my life, and I should really do this here. So it's like, I kind of sound like to say that I feel like God took movement away from me to stop me from doing what I was doing at that time, to do the right thing, you know?
I'll show you something else, yeah.
That's really nice. So is there like any artists other than your parents? Are there anyone that inspired you, like in the past or
other than your brother?
Yeah, and your
you know
brother, yeah.
What is funny is, like, on purpose I tried not to go to any well, this was like 5 to 3 years ago. I didn't go to much exhibitions because I didn't want to see any artist's work. I kind of wanted my work to be truthfully from
Original,
me.
yeah.
So I didn't want anything to affect my subconscious. But I know for a fact my parents have been the biggest influence in my art. Like, even now, I look at the pieces I make now, then I look at some of my parents' older work, and I'm like, oh my God, this is similar to this that I saw when I was maybe 8 or 9.
Right, yeah.
I don't always remember. Just my dad or my mom might say, oh, this is similar to whatever that they done. So I know for a fact they are the biggest influence.
Of course, yes, in the genes.
Yeah, definitely. But there are a few artists out there. Like, I had the privilege of being in France a couple months ago, working alongside. He's an American ceramicist, like really big back in America, and he invited me to the Black Artist. He invited me to this kind of big kind of retreat they had, and it was all these different ceramicists and artists, DJs.
What was his name?
His name was Theaster Gates.
Okay.
So it was like all these different creators from all over the world, and we all sat there for a week, watching films, and just to be there in the environment with him and to see what he was doing, that really inspired me. And I came back, and this summer, since then, I've just been buying artwork, man.
Good.
Okay, right, so we're going to take a little break and play a little song, and then we're going to resume back. And before we do that, I just want to big up to Joan12345. You said hello, ladies. Hey, Joan.
Hey, Joan.
And yeah, so we'll resume.
Hello, welcome back. We're back. We're going to jump straight into it with our guest,
Ronaldo
Wiltshire.
Thank you.
That's it. Teamwork.
Okay, yeah, there you go. What role does the kiln, is that how you say it? Kiln process play in the overall design? Can you just explain what that is? Because we didn't actually really know.
So tell the people then what that is for real, because they're probably baffled.
Okay, so the kiln is basically the oven we use to fire clay, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it goes up to, we fire up to 1260 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Yeah, so if they've got anybody that I don't like in the studio, I just put them in there. There's
That's
no
the whole, but not
I'm joking.
well, good to know.
No, but
Maybe
seriously,
we'll
it
rethink
gets,
coming.
like, super hot when that kiln is on.
Do you have to have special training to be able to operate that?
I don't let anyone touch the kiln.
Okay.
But you do need to understand how it works, because you need to set it to the right temperatures.
Yeah.
And there's a program. And also to pack the kiln is also like a big job. So with the first firing, you could put all the pieces in, allow them to touch. But with the glaze firing, if they touch, they're going to stick together. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And how do you balance functionality with artistic expression in your pottery?
So this was something that was really difficult for me at first, and what I decided to do is actually split the business in a few different directions. So that's why we have like the classes, then we have the domestic wear, they're both from Motions of Clay, and then there's Ronaldo Wiltshire, which is the artist. And I try to spend just a decent amount of time on each one, you know?
Right. Okay. So how does your local culture or environment influence your work?
You know, like, I try to spend a lot of time back in Barbados. And every time I go back, I always find I learn something new about clay, or I see how some of the local ceramicists over there are kind of working. And I just get a bit of inspiration from them as well.
Is it popular in Barbados?
Yeah, so see, back in Barbados, there was a village called, I don't know why it slipped my mind, but it was in the East Coast. It was called Chalky Mount. There's a place in Chalky Mount, right? And there was loads of potters there back in like the 80s, you know? And it just happened that all of these guys who were there, they all just watched me grow up because they knew my dad as well. So like now, obviously me being in the industry, I feel like a lot of people are kind of champion for me and trying to push me to do a bit more.
Push. Okay, so that kind of leads on. So how do you see your role within the larger pottery or art community? So it's your whole community kind of like inspiring you and pushing behind you. And
Yeah, so first thing first, as a black ceramicist in the UK, I know it's not something that is quite often seen, especially being a black male doing it. I haven't come across much young black males. I don't think there's any other young black males that I know that do pottery, which is quite sad, right? And I hope from them seeing me doing it, and it might encourage more young people to come in and get involved. But definitely, like, I've been filming. I don't know why I've been filming, but I started filming loads of potters in Barbados over the past couple of years. So I've been sitting down in their studios, just talking to them, and I think I'm probably going to release like a mini documentary in the next year or so. Like, I just do this stuff without knowing, without any kind of direction, and just sometimes it just
pays off,
into something after.
Of course.
Yeah.
So do you teach or mentor other aspiring potters, and what advice would you give them?
So most of my day is actually involved in teaching. So as well as we run 3 courses at the college. At the studio. We do our sipping pot events and we do our memberships, right? Besides that, part-time I teach at Morley College. So I teach the advanced course there and the throwing course there, right? So I don't know how many students that I see a week, but I see so much faces.
That's so good.
I'll be calling everyone like the wrong names and stuff. Like,
Is it a mixed ethnicity of people? Like, do you get like a good mixture of people?
Yeah, it is very mixed. Like, I went to there's people from all types of backgrounds that come into the studio, man. Yeah, so it's like, even sometimes like the conversations in the classes, like, I just like to sit down and just kind of listen, not even to be involved, just to listen. And I meet some of the most amazing people as well, and I've become like close friends with a few of the students that come to the space.
That's fantastic. So how has your work evolved over the years, and what direction do you see yourself taking, like, in the future? Like, what's your next 5-year plan? Have you got your 5-year plan?
Okay, I definitely got a 5-year plan. Whether I could tell you everything, no.
Well, you can keep us a little exclusive.
Definitely. So I've been kind of working a lot more back in Barbados with my dad, and you see, he's been running the business there for 40 years. He's very established over there, so he's like the go-to potter. So a lot of the hotels, like the restaurants, they buy his work as well as even sell in their establishments some of his work as well.
Nice, yeah.
And I'm kind of getting a lot of these guys now emailing me asking if I could create the collection. So I've decided I'm going to be spending some time in Barbados, hopefully in the next coming year, where I could really dive into being more involved in the management of the company over there. And one of the big things that I've been planning for like 5 years now that still hasn't happened is these kind of retreats that we want to do back in Barbados. So over there we supply clay, and we dig the clay, process the clay, and we supply it. So I would love to invite some ceramicists and anyone from England to come down to Barbados, come and see how we process the clay, dig it, and actually make something. Just have that whole experience. And so for anyone who is planning to go to Barbados, we've been doing lots of classes out there, and the studio there is called Hamilton's Pottery, and it's located in St. Thomas.
In Barbados?
Yeah, in Barbados.
Okay, and just another, like, one more shop, or?
So there's one main space. What me and my dad been slowly trying to work on. He's really trying to prepare the space for me for when I come, and he knows I'm doing a lot of classes. So he's bought like a few more wheels, kind of set it up for me for when I want to come back and run my workshops. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you approach the business side of being a potter, such as like pricing, marketing, and like selling your work?
Okay, so when I wrote my business plan, I had done an enterprise course, just helping me to understand just how to price my work, and I had a formula, and I used that for the beginning, like the first few years of the business. It was first launched in 2014. Then after, I found myself just kind of tweaking prices, dropping prices, and I have found that quite difficult. Like, I remember I've sold some pieces at a particular price to some art collectors, and I had 2 of these guys, one at a time, like, he told me the price was a bit too low, but he's glad and he's going to buy it. And the other guy, he told me the price was low, and he actually offered to pay more for it. Yeah. And that kind of made me to kind of understand the value of what I'm working. It's not just about how much time I spent to make that one piece. It's like the whole year of research I might spend before I actually start to make the piece. I need to kind of think about all of that and the concepts as well. Like,
don't ever undersell yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely learning that now.
Yeah, definitely. So, like the pieces that you just sold, you just spoke about that. Have you had any exhibitions or shows that were particularly meaningful to you, or have you had any highlights in regards to exhibitions so far in your career?
Exhibition wise, I haven't done an exhibition in the past year. No, I'm lying. I was part of an exhibition called the Time Is Now exhibition in the National Portrait Gallery. So they have recently started to stock some of my vases.
Okay.
And they felt my work kind of suited to be alongside this exhibition, right? Which I was really grateful for. So besides that, in the past year, I haven't done any exhibitions, but I'm working on trying to secure a space at the moment. The reason why I haven't done any exhibitions is not because like there aren't opportunities out there. I just felt I wanted to show something different, and I know I didn't have the time to work and create new pieces at the beginning of this year. So this is why the summer was so important for me, so I could have all this new work to showcase.
Right. What does success as a pottery artist mean to you?
Success as a pottery artist, like some people might think I'm successful, and I think I'm successful in some ways of having the space that I wanted, doing what I want for a living, even though I know I need to make a lot more money. But I just think for me, success is just being independent and being able to do what I want when I want to do it, travel when I want, spend time with the family. I've got 2 young daughters, 9 and 2, so being self-employed, like I get to, like, I could take them to school, nursery, I could pick them up when I want. I get a bit more time with them, like during the daytime. If I had like a regular 9 to 5, I wouldn't be able to do this. So I think that is success for me.
Have your children shown any interest in?
Oh yeah, so my oldest daughter, she was really into it when she was young. She's kind of starting to drift away now. And my youngest, she had, about a few weeks ago, we was in the studio. I'm going to post these pictures tomorrow probably, and they both made some really nice pieces, man. I'm trying to get them to probably come in tomorrow to actually glaze them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Finish off.
So, other than your children, is there anybody else you'd like to collaborate on making clay? Or have you collaborated with anybody else?
I think when it comes to collaborations, I've done a few. I've got a few pieces in the pipeline that have been going for, I'll say, a while. We haven't released anything. So we got the 3D printing project that's been going. I've got a series of tools I'm going to be launching with a 3D designer. We just finished the business plan, so we're going to push those out soon. I haven't told anyone yet, but I've got a range of plates with I'm an artist, so she's going to be painting on the plates, and we're going to push those out by October, hopefully.
Okay.
And there's a few other stuff that's going, man. You just got to follow the page.
This is it.
Yeah,
keep
watching.
How do you see the role of pottery today in today's fast-paced digital world?
You know what? Like today, in this internet age, everything is like so fast, and we want everything to be instant. Like if you want the results, we want to put up on our phone and get it straight away. With pottery, even for me, it's helped me to just kind of humble myself and just be more present with what I'm doing at the moment, you know? Because when you're making, honestly, if you're on the wheel, you have to think about how much water you're going to be adding, your hand position, the speed, your posture. So it's impossible for you to be thinking about your problems at home or your partner or this or any problems kind of go out of your mind, and you're so present with what is happening at the moment. And that's been really important for me, because as I said, when I first started, it was a really tough time, and being able to like step away from all like the negative stuff that was happening and do this, I don't think if I was doing anything else, it would have been able to kind of distract me from those issues.
Yeah, it wouldn't have impacted your life as much as this pottery has. When you dream, do you dream about pottery? Have you heard of pottery dream yet?
You know, I haven't had any pottery dreams. If I had, I can't tell you. No, but I try not to. Late nights,
You switch
I try
off.
not to talk too much about work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the truth. So my partner, she's very much involved in the book business as well. Like she works on the website, puts the courses out. She organizes all of that aspects. And I find sometimes that late at night, I might come in. She'll be like, "Oh yeah, so we got to do this tomorrow." I'll be like, "Please, I don't want to
Teamwork, I love it.
talk about work," but we end up doing it sometimes. But
Yeah.
I find nighttime, I try to switch off as much as I
You
can.
have to, of course, yeah. You need some me time.
Yeah.
So what do you hope people feel or experience when they interact with your pottery?
So one of the first things we always say in the class is don't be attached, right? Because it could go wrong at each stage. My goal, right, is just to help people to be free and just have fun, right? Don't always look for like a finished outcome or for like a finished tangible piece. It's literally that present moment where you're doing and trying to enjoy what's right in front of us. Like we always try to search for something else, but we don't pay attention to what's right there.
Right, yeah.
And that kind of like goes back to me when I lost like that bit of mobility in 2012. Clay's always been in my life.
Right,
And
yeah.
I never saw it as like to be so impactful, you know? So I think we just need to really pay attention to that's what's right in front of us sometimes.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, a doctor told you just to play with your kind of play for your hand or whatever, and then a whole business has been created. Do you know what I mean? So that's great.
Like 10 years later, man.
Yeah, look where you are now. Do you know what I mean? Doing classes and all that. It's really good.
It's like your career you didn't choose your career.
Yeah,
My life
it
is
was set in the
happening to me,
stars.
I don't know.
And so, what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your work as a potter?
I think that I would just love people to. That was actually a tough question. What would I want to leave behind? I think I just want people to know that if you truly believe in what you're doing and you're actually pushing into work, sometimes it does pay off.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy because I could have given up so many times.
Yeah.
But it's just really being probably kind of delusional and just believing that no matter what, it's already happened, it's done.
Yeah.
You know? So I just kept pushing no matter what. I think people who see my journey, they literally saw me going through all the struggles and then the high points, then the lows again and coming back. I think my legacy will be I just never stopped. I just kept going, trying to get all the ideas out of my head and just trying stuff. If it works, perfect. If it doesn't work, just move on to the next thing.
So how much does your work sell for? What's your price range?
Yeah, for real.
So I feel like it's quite broad. So my work, I think, is quite affordable.
Okay.
I think my bowls range from between around 18 to 40, even a bit more, depending on the size. And my mugs, I sell my mugs for £29. Anthropology sells my mugs for, I think they sell it for 48 or £50, you know? So I guess they could be priced at different ranges.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Do you get good feedback from your supporters and stuff? And
Yeah, man, like, it's so funny, like, I get lots of people who've bought work from my dad, like, 20, 30 years ago. I now realize that I'm his son. A lot of people didn't realize I was his son, and they always contact me, and just because I'm his son, they buy, like, work from me. They're always saying, oh, this
I'm sure it's not just
the pressure's on them.
because I've seen your work.
I mean, it looks good, but for them, I'm probably just a shadow of him, you know what I mean? So just to have like another piece of his, because I guess for some people they haven't been back to Barbados in 20, 30 years, you know, and I know my work looks very similar to him. I did pretty much stole a lot of his ideas. Yeah, that's the truth.
So how did that feel about you stealing his ideas?
He's cool because he done the same thing as well. Like I remember, I think it was 2019, I went back there and I was showing him some of the style of oil burners I was doing and how that I cut them out. And I was trying to do the flame like what he does, but it wasn't working. So mine looked more like a cannabis leaf, which wasn't a bad thing for some people. Like some people was, oh yeah, this is a weed leaf. Oh yeah, I want this. I want to buy that. I was like, okay, that works. And then he saw it, and he was, oh, this looks quite cool. I went back to Barbados the year after,
And he had
all
it.
the oil burners was like that. So then I took his design and he used mine.
You see, yeah. So you help each other out.
Yeah, man.
It must be a lot of pressure as well, because like you say, he's done it before you, and so when people come across your work, you're almost walking in these footsteps type of thing, so they definitely expect the work to be good because he's so good.
Yes, definitely, of
But I've
course.
seen your work still, and it is really good still, so
True.
if he's any better than that, then yeah, you got something going on there, definitely.
And you know what's funny, like for instance, like the face sculptures, I was making those for my mum to begin with. And then after we actually done the first batch and put them out, my mum then showed me some of her work. And it was sculpture, the head was bold, everything. I was like, I think I just copy yourself in a way. Like, yeah. So subconsciously, man, they definitely influencing me.
I think, when I was looking at your work, I kind of got like Earth, Africa, I kind of got a mixture
good.
of things from looking at your artwork. So
I definitely feel that. I probably take influences from stuff without even realizing it, you know. It's just kind of like, if I like something, it probably just happens, and I just draw inspiration from all over the place.
You said that you was traveling, and I see that you traveled before, so you seem like you like to travel a lot. So do you find that when you travel to different countries, like you find inspiration and things like that as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like every time I travel, I always just try to talk to people, especially like meeting artists and stuff, and seeing like just how they find their journey. And I always feel like stuff that I've been holding myself back from doing, always come back feeling like, no, it's time to do it. Just do it. Like, why am I overthinking? And it takes someone else to come and say this to me, for me to actually go and take that plunge. No.
I think it's good. There's another famous Wiltshire, a gentleman, Stephen Wiltshire.
Yeah.
And he's an artist. And
an architect?
No, he draws
buildings.
Yes.
I've been getting his work being sent to me for a few years now. People keep asking me if he's family to me.
Yeah.
That's
the guy that's in my documentary.
Oh, okay. Is he that?
Yeah. Yeah, do you know
Is he Belgian?
I'm not sure. No, he's
I think he has a
Caribbean.
Caribbean background, yeah.
He does have a Caribbean.
But the detail of his drawings and stuff as well is really impressive.
He's autistic.
Yeah.
And he didn't speak until when he was like 5 or something like that. And they gave him some pencils at school, and then they realised that he could draw really well. And then when he was like 7 or 8, he was commissioned to draw a cathedral for the Queen. And so he's got like an OBE, MBE, he's got everything in Empire State Building. There's a whole floor dedicated to him. And so I just recently done a documentary about neurodiversity, and I managed to convince him and his sister to be in the documentary.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, we're going to be having that come out soon. But hearing about you and then Stephen, it's good to see, especially people of colour,
of course,
getting recognition and doing great things
and being successful,
and inspiring people.
And inspiring, do you know what I mean? Doing something good, you know?
Yeah, because you've got your classes and you've got people turning up, and thank you for you're a great role model, and
thank you so much, man.
We like to see young people
I
doing
definitely feel like young people just need to see more people like us doing stuff like this.
Doing different things, you're absolutely right.
I don't think kids going to believe that they could have that opportunity too.
Right,
I think the more
course.
we seeing it, the more youth might try to step in. I remember I'd done some volunteer work, I think it was in South Kilburn. And I remember some of the boys there, like the ladies were saying, it was quite difficult to get them to settle down and listen. And during the session, she came to me, she was like, this is the first time they've been so engaged. And this was like back in 2016, 2017. So I wonder like what these kids are up to now. And I was really glad that I could come in there being like a young black male. At the time I had dreads, that they thought it was quite cool and stuff as well. So I think they just need someone that they could kind of resonate with, that looks like them, and that will kind of help to kind of just inspire them to do stuff like this.
Do you think you'd ever think about going into schools, maybe like doing little classes and stuff, just like introductory to pottery?
Definitely. So every year I go into Westminster School, and I spend 2 days there doing full workshops with all the year 7s.
Okay.
And they're all boys. So they're loud.
Into it?
Yeah, they're loud. They be having fun. They be talking about music, rap, like everything, man. So I kind of bring all that stuff and get them to put it into their work, Yeah.
So can you tell us about your event? So if anyone wants to do pottery, like how can they get involved? How can they reach out to you? Like, what's the process?
So if you want to get involved in ceramics, go on to Instagram, TikTok, type in Motions Are Clear, send me a DM or you could click on that link in the bio to see what classes we've got. You're gonna have options for our taster classes. You could join a membership during the daytime if you're free during the daytime, or you could join one of our Sip and Pot events. Our next Sip and Pot event is October the 5th, and that is a public event for anyone to book. We also do loads of private Sip and Pot. So if you have your birthday coming up and you're looking to do something different, rather than just going to a club or like a restaurant, like in our Sip and Pot events, we got my friend Beyond, like he brings the vibes. He does.
Can you drink while you're making clay?
You could drink. You can more than drink. We've got rum.
Yo, I mean.
Maybe I should bring Beyond to tell us about this.
You can drink, you can vibe.
That's simple. Here you said you could drink, you can vibe. But also, like, you get the chance to throw on the potter's wheel, and you also could do a bit of hand building. But I want Beyond to come and tell us a bit about
look at my little
how the
show.
Sip and Pots got started, and kind of like how
Come on the camera, BFE.
affected him. Because even he also joined one of my classes when we first met. And then he started to make stuff.
Is that how you guys met?
We were colleagues at work. You know? So we used to work together, like you know.
Okay.
We got quite close
There's
at
the
work.
history.
Yeah, and then we realized that we lived quite close as well.
Okay, and then you couldn't shake him off.
Yeah. So tell me, what was it like for you, like doing ceramics for the first time?
Come to the mic.
Hello everybody, I'm Bjorn. Nice to not meet you all. Ceramics for the first time for me, I don't know, it was a bit different. Obviously coming from where I come from, it's not something that's
The norm.
that
You know that everyone's doing kind of thing. It's very different.
Of course I've seen like Patrick Swayze, Young Ghost and so on and so forth. I'm an old school done, you know what I mean? But it wasn't in my mind for me to do something like that. But when I did do it, I brought my little sisters round, like a few of them, and it was actually fun. It's like really therapeutic, like down to earth, kind of calming. And then I think with that I kind of took it another direction as well.
So how did you find the pottery class? Because you say you don't know how you done it, but you're not explaining why you did it.
Why I done it.
Why did you do it?
Because I had access to do it, and the type of person I am, if I could do it, I will do it. You know. So
What made you interested in it though? Because it was pottery. It's different. It's not like.
I just wanted to try it. I don't know.
Something different.
Yeah, it was so long ago.
But you thought there'd be chicks there.
You know.
At the time, I knew there wasn't going to be, because at the time, because we used to work together in a college. So I remember the time that he told me to calm down and try it was like kind of as the time we were going to finish work.
Right. Okay.
So but it was fun. Like I'd recommend it to anyone that's like looking for an outlet, you know, or something to do while they're not working. So
Very therapeutic.
it is indeed.
And you can come with something that you made, and that's always nice, isn't it? Taking away stuff that you made.
So tell us about the classes. I want to hear more about the classes. I want to know where they are, how much, time starting, what time it finish. You know, give us some info.
So we are located between White City and Wilson.
Oh, I love it.
So
Local.
we're northwest, West
Come to
London.
me, babes.
I'm at the same time.
I love it. Yeah.
So one side of the road is northwest and the other side is west. Right, so we're in the middle. Usually our Sip and Pot events are around 7 or 7:30. They're about
perfect.
3 hours.
Okay.
But honestly, whenever people come into the studio, they don't want to go home.
You see?
Yeah.
Me and Shols will stay. I'm
No,
joking.
trust me, it is a vibe in there. Because it's 2 separate rooms as well. So we have hand building happening in one room, and we have the music in that same room as well. And then you could kind of dance and move around. And in the other room is where we have the wheels, which is
Alright,
just
so hold on.
really messy
So we're
and that.
dancing as well as.
Oh, I'm gonna love this. I am
Okay.
Spinning,
And I take
Alright.
away
and sipping as well.
I like
You see,
it.
I'm saying,
You know?
take away a
But you
bowl.
know, like sipping, you actually sip in like, or most of the time I make my Bajan star rum punch.
Okay. Listen.
So I make
need to try back, you
a
know.
batch, and that's been there for the whole night.
I'll get my cafe.
After our last public event, and we were sponsored by Wagwan, so they like flooded us with drinks, and everybody loved it, man.
How much are the classes?
Classes, so the Sip and Pots are £60.
Okay.
In those sessions, you obviously you don't take home your pieces on the day. So within 4 to 6 weeks, you
can
come
come
back
back.
and collect 2 ceramic pieces, and we do the trimming and the glazing of
finishing
that.
off.
Yeah, so that means that we add the colors and we make it look a bit
Pretty
more
up and
smooth for you.
yeah.
Right?
When people get it delivered to them, like, say, like if they come from out
so
of
say
London.
like some people who are traveling from quite far, they do
Yeah.
often ask if they could get the pieces shipped, and that is something that we cannot offer as well.
At a price as well,
Yeah.
of course, obviously.
And you know they want me to. Have you ever had occasions where the piece has been damaged by the time it's reached the person?
You know what,
Like
right?
Sometimes.
in the past 10 years of business, I think I've only had about 5 and 6 lost when stuff broke during the shipping. Doesn't happen often. I try to wrap my pieces really well.
Of course, yeah.
Unfortunately, a couple of days ago, I got a message from Florida, and I don't know what they did over there, but the boxes were sold. It looked like someone stood on the boxes and the pieces got damaged. But that's been the worst.
Does that come out of your
I've ever
pocket
had.
when you have to replace it, or does it come out from the shipping company?
There is insurance, but in a way, I kind of have to cover it.
Right, yeah.
Those pieces too, you know.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But as well as as I say, the sipping pot are 60, tasting sessions are 60.
Yep.
We do 6-week courses, which are $215. And if you wanted to be like a hobbyist ceramicist or come in and learn to make yourself and make your own work, you could become a member. You get 18 hours a week, come in the studio from 10 to 4, and you could make what you want, and that is, I think, £260.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a month.
Right. Well, so we want to thank you again, Ronaldo, for coming down. Can you again just mention again all your social, just so the people know where to go and look at your work or buy your work and stuff like that?
So if you're looking for me on socials, I'm on Instagram and I'm on TikTok under Motions of Clear. We also run another page called Clear Vibes.
Okay.
If you go on Google, you could just Google Motions of Clay on Google, and you can find our website. There, if you want to request to book your own sipping pot or your own event, just send me like a message on there. And you can also buy ceramics on there. Our next shop update is going to be the 4th of October. So we're going to be releasing some new mugs, bowls, and some aromatherapy burners on the website.
Right. Great. Okay.
Yes.
So. Yeah, again, thank you for
man.
coming down. It was an absolute pleasure. We're going to be following your page and following your work. We wish you all the best and all the success, and hope you have, an aspiring future.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do in the future, because
And we'll come on your
So
classes
you
as
guys
well.
coming through to the class.
No,
Yeah,
we're
man.
definitely going to come. I think we'll
I think
record it
it's
as
a great
well.
place for a first date as well.
No,
It's different. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's different.
Yeah, we
Like,
do private
Each
sessions
other.
too. We actually do privates and we do couple sessions as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you got the ghost music playing in the
The
background?
goals, I mean,
Dim the lights and all that.
Yeah.
Red light.
Yeah, you gotta get into
set the tone, you know.
yeah, about that ambience, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. All right, so yeah, thank you very much for coming in the studio. Like we
thank you
said,
so
it
much,
was a
guys.
pleasure to have you in. So, guys, we're gonna take a little break.
We are. We're going to play some music, and we're going to big up to Dusty D and Mandy M and Jason Murphy. And yeah, and Jason, we're doing fine. How are you doing? And big up to Mama Joan, big up to my cousin
up, Mama
Kimmy,
Joan.
Malachi, and
Yeah, that's it.
big up to Beyond, Ronaldo.
Yeah, sorry.
You get me?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so
Thank you.